Roll tape.
Hello and welcome. My name is Jessica Leal, and I'm here to interview for the Hispanic Heritage Celebration Month. It just passed. And right here joining me is the Assistant Director of the EPCC Diversity Programs, Mr. Doroteo Franco. Mr. Franco, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, Mr. Franco, what is the diversity programs?
Diversity programs promotes cultural awareness and acceptance among the students, community, and college employees. Our goal is to educate and disseminate information about the various cultures that make up the community and the world.
So there is a lot of student involvement?
Yes, sometimes it's difficult for the students because of their classes, so we try to do programs that they can visit in between classes or during the breaks and things like that, or in the evenings as well.
That's great. Pay attention for all you students out there. So when did the celebration begin, this whole Hispanic Heritage celebration?
Hispanic Heritage started in 1968 when Congress approved Hispanic Heritage Week, which included September 15th and 16th. 15th because several of the Central American countries like Honduras, Guatemala, celebrate their Independence Day on the 15th and Mexico on the 16th. And later was expanded to the whole month from September 15th to October 15th.
And with that comes the grito, right?
That's
September
correct,
15th. Yeah. So what is the importance of these events?
The importance of the events is to educate the people on various different cultures. This Hispanic culture.
Oh, and how has this been progressing over the years?
Well, we're celebrating, or we just celebrated 13th annual Hispanic Heritage Month. It started with one-day events. The first celebration was a single-day event at the Valle Verde campus. Included speakers and performances by dancers, various dance groups and singing groups. The first 3 years it was just a one-day event. On the fourth year, it expanded to the Rio Grande campus. The following year, it included Trans Mountain and Mission del Paso. And we've been celebrating all the various campuses throughout the years. In 2009, we had a 3-day conference. We brought speakers from different areas. The topic that year was 100-year of history, which coincided with the anniversary of the Mexican Revolution. And then the following year we had more events. We started, I think it was 2006, when we added the Mentors Luncheon, which recognized community members for their services and commitment to bettering the community. And then later we moved that event to the evening because of time constraints and parking situation at the Administrative Services Center. And so now we're celebrating the mentors at dinner, and we've expanded that program as well.
All right. And well, I've been a witness previously. September the 16th, actually, we met, right?
Yes.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
And many students filmed their videos for different classes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great that you're doing this. Thank you so much for all us communications majors. And for those videos, you can always tune in at youtube.com/EPCC Diversity Programs, and a bunch of videos of the students will pop out. But continuing, are you satisfied with the last celebration?
You know, this celebration was very intense. We had 4 panel discussions on issues that are relevant to the border area. The first one was on Chicano literature. We had published faculty members from UTEP, from EPCC, and we also included Sergio Troncoso, who grew up in the Lower Valley, graduated from Isleta, and then went on to graduate from Harvard and Yale, and has published several books. So he came and joined us for that panel discussion. Our second panel was on immigration issues, border immigration issues, and that included the county judge, Veronica Escobar, We had Carlos Spector, immigration attorney at law, and we had the El Paso sector deputy chief of the Border Patrol area. And so they discussed the immigration issues that are particularly interesting or that reflect border issues in this area. The third panel was on education excellence, borderland education excellence, and we featured 4 of the independent school district superintendents and also our Dr. Serrata, our EPCC president. And they talked about the various aspects of education. And following that, we had a short panel discussions with students that are in the early college, high school programs. And our last panel was on economic development, and that included the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, the CEO of the Borderplex Alliance. We had the garrison commander from Fort Bliss, and we also had the director of city development at El Paso. So they touched various topics, including economic development in the downtown area, the downtown development, and various topics that are associated with the economic development.
So a lot of important people.
Yes, it was not easy trying to get all these people.
That's what I was wondering. I mean, Veronica Escobar.
Yeah.
And well, the president.
You know, their schedules are very busy. In fact, the Mr. Pablos, the CEO of the Borderplex Alliance, he was out of town and happened to land like a half hour before the program started. So he had to rush from the airport to get here and present for us. And we appreciate their commitment and involvement and support for the community.
All right. And so what changes do you see in the next few years?
You know, I hope that the Hispanic Heritage program continues to cover those topics that are sometimes controversial, like civil rights issues. You know, it's been many years since we had civil rights, issues, but they're still there. We're still not rid of those inequalities. And so I think some of those topics need to be touched again and talked into more detail. Things like immigration issues, those things, they don't go away. They just morph into something a little different. Like this year, we had those issues with the children that were coming from Central America. And the year before that, it was a different immigration issue. So these things just kind of, they change, but they're all immigration issues. So I would like to see more educational topics on the education of the students of the community area, because that's what's going to grow our leaders, our next leaders for the next generation. So I'd like to see more of that, but also celebration of the foods, of the music, of the things that we believe in, things that makes our culture unique.
Yeah, and break the barrier, the language barrier.
Of course.
So what would you tell somebody if they feel ashamed about their Hispanic heritage? What would you tell them?
You know, I think more those feelings come from ignorance, because they're not aware of their past. And that's the fault of the education system. You know, the history books are written by those people that influence history. So some of our cultural history that are in the textbooks now are very one-sided and sometimes not even accurate. And so I think the more we understand about ourselves, the more we understand about a particular culture, the less shame that we'll feel, the more proud or more acceptance that we'll feel about that. So I would say just, if you're ashamed, well, find out more about yourself, find out more about the people you come from.
And do you think these types of events makes us Latinos feel empowered?
Oh, of course. You know, it's the education. It's what you learn about the Latino culture, the different cultures. The more you know about yourself, the prouder you feel. The Chicano literature panel was very educational. The writers, the faculty, they talked about things that a lot of the students that were in the audience had no idea. And it's a growing experience. It's an educational experience for them.
It was very glad to see the involvement, especially I attended the early college program,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and they were allowed, the people in the audience, they were
Mm-hmm.
allowed to ask questions,
Mm-hmm.
and it does, and I can see, and it's great that you guys are doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So, what impact does this leave on you? What kind of impact does the Hispanic heritage, all these years, have taught you?
You know, it's not only the Hispanic Heritage program, but we also do programs like Black History Month. This year we did a cultural festival that included the Sergeant's Major Academy students, international students from 28 different countries. We had a faculty member that was interested in doing a Holocaust remembrance program, so we helped them with that, and that was very educational. We think of the Holocaust and we just think of one group, but it affected so many other different groups in so many ways. And so, you know, I learned from these programs. I always take away something different that I didn't know before. And so that's what I like about doing what I do.
That's great. So, will you keep promoting this throughout various programs here, like radio? It would be better if more advertising, and even throughout, you know, various media,
Mm-hmm.
not only.
That has always been one of the shortfalls for many of our programs is advertisement. You know, I'm glad groups like you are doing things like this. We've also been out to some of the TV programs, the radio programs, but not enough promotion gets done for the various programs, and I think they're important. I think not only for the students, but for the community. And so I think the more promotion that we do for these events, the more attendance we'll have and the more people will learn about themselves.
And how can EPCC students get involved in this?
We have our office number is 831-3324. You can call there at any time. All of our programs, we pass out evaluations, and the evaluation has a part there where you could submit your name and number, and we'll contact you for future events. If you'd like to promote something, if you'd like to do a certain program, you can call us and we'll work with you and try to get this the support and the activities needed to make it happen. So by calling 831-3324, you can talk to our receptionist there and give them your information, your ideas, and your interest, and we'll get back to you.
All right, well, thank you so much, Mr. Franco. This was all for the questions. And thank you so much for joining us. Again, you can always log in to youtube.com/EPCC Diversity Programs to watch this and many more videos. Thank you. Have a nice day.
You did good.